So I'm going to show you how to use the Citations tool on Google Docs. And even if you have Microsoft Word or if you're a Microsoft Word user, I would definitely encourage you to consider switching to Google Docs just for the sheer fact that the citation tool embedded right in Google Docs is really incredibly efficient, and it's going to make your job writing papers in this class and in any other classes you might have to write papers so much easier. So let me share my screen and show you how it works. So what we're going to do is we are going to go to Tools, Citations, and then it's going to open up this box on the right-hand side. Now you won't have anything here when you first start, but I've included a citation right here just to show you that once you start adding citations, it will keep them for you on the right-hand side. If you open up into the same document, of course, you will still have your citations from last time. So once you go into that tools and open up your citations, it's always going to be over here. And when you start writing your paper, you can also use this bar over here to add citations in the paper. So this is also going to really, really expedite your in-text citation work as well, because it will always be here for you to draw from. So let me show you how you are going to get this citation source right here. So I'm going to use this article called Writing in the 21st Century to make a citation out of. So we will go to Add Citation Source, and this is from a website, but you'll see here that there are other options, book, a section of a book, so maybe if you're using a textbook, this would be appropriate. Journal article, if you're using the databases, this will be appropriate, and a newspaper article. So we're going to choose website. And then we need to open up our article and see who is the author. So it looks like it is a conversation with this person, but somebody else has introduced them. So what we might need to do is, the introduction is really very short, so I don't think we need to worry about that. So we're just going to cite this guy because he's the one who's doing the bulk of the talking. Really, this is a transcript, it looks like, of the video. So that doesn't matter. We're looking at the article. That's what we're citing. We are citing the article. So we will go ahead and use Pinker Stephen as the author. Just having a difficult time getting back to my Google Doc. The screen sharing, there we go. Okay, so you'll notice here that it says if it has an asterisk by it, that's a recommended field. So we need to definitely make sure to include an author. If there is no actual author, for instance, if this didn't have an author attributed to it, we would use the Edge as the corporate author. So they've published this on their website. So this is something you see frequently with government published articles, like from the Center for Disease Control. Oftentimes it's just published by the CDC. There's no particular author attributed to it. So in that case, we would use the name of the CDC for the author and check that box that says corporate organization. But we have an author here, so we're just going to put that in. And that's for the first name first. So Stephen Pinker. And then if we decided we wanted to attribute it to the person who wrote the introduction, we could go ahead and add a contributor and also include them in the citation. But I don't think it's super necessary, so we'll leave it out. Then we need the title of the article. So the title of the article is Writing in the 21st Century. And the website title, it was published on the Edge. So we will put that here, Edge. Here, the publisher, this isn't something that is relevant from this particular article that we're looking at. The Edge posts all of their own original content. But if you're looking at an article where content is kind of curated from other places, then you might have a publisher. So for example, on this, this article that I have already cited in my Google Doc, it's published to poets.org, but it comes from American Poets. Now, how you're going to find this out is going to be different based on different websites. It's not something that you're going to come across very often. And as you'll notice here, it doesn't have an asterisk by it. So we don't even have to put this in here. If we can't find it, then we don't have to put it in here. But here, this was published from American Poets, and it just came to poets.org as another place for people to read it. So the publisher is really American Poets, but it's on the website poets.org. So that would be an example of where a publisher might come into play, but in this case, we don't have a publisher. So we will go ahead and skip filling in that information and do our URL in here. And then it's asking for the day that it was published. So let's see if there is a date on here anywhere. So sometimes with web articles, there is not a date. I didn't see anything at the top, so I'm scrolling down to the bottom. There might be a date at the bottom somewhere. And I do not see anything that indicates a date of the particular article. So what that means, so we won't put anything here. It does have an asterisk by the year, as oftentimes if there's not a specific date, there's usually at least a year, but there's not even a year on this. So we're not going to bother with that. We're just going to leave it. Remember, the asterisk just means it's recommended. It doesn't mean that I won't generate the citation for you if you don't put it in there. But you definitely want to do your due diligence and make sure that you can't find that anywhere. And then it's going to ask you for the access day. And the reason for this is that if someone were to look at your collection of resources, say 5 years from now, they could see, oh, you accessed this on the 18th of December. In 2020, it is now 2025. Maybe that particular resource isn't very relevant for me anymore. Or maybe they try to get to that resource and the link is broken because it's been 5 years, and sometimes that happens with time. So that just gives a future reader or user information about when you accessed it. So we accessed it on the 18th of December in 2020. And you don't need to worry about the short title. You can leave that blank, and we will hit Add Citation Source, and then we have it right here. So now we have a couple of sources curated for us, and we can insert a bibliography, and it will just look like this. And it will automatically alphabetize it for you, so you won't have to think about that yourself. And that's pretty great. It automatically formats it for you. The one thing you will have to change, up here it says bibliography, and we don't want it to say bibliography because in MLA we use the term works cited. So we're going to change it to that. That is how you use the citation tool in Google Docs. And I definitely think that it is a huge resource for you. It is efficient. It saves you a bunch of time, and it's pretty easy. So I hope that you find use out of it, and thanks for learning about the citation tool in Google Docs with me.